Hello, hello. My name is Denise, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about some books that I read during the month of March. Also, I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Thank you for joining me. I read about two more than what I'm going to share with you, but I can't find those books, so there you go. During the month of March, I wanted to read as many books as I could from female authors. And that's exactly what I did. I read 7 books this month. Not a bunch, but, well, actually, 9 books. But they were all by female authors. I read more than that, but some of them were by some male authors, and those were the books that I wanted to read them anyway, so they're just not going to get included in this month. Book read. The first book that I read was The Midnight Witness. It was a pretty good read. I enjoyed it. I got kind of involved in it. It's by Sarah Bladel, I think is how you would say her name. The Midnight Witness, it had a lot of police procedure stuff in it, which was kind of interesting. Some of it was kind of boring. Like many other stories in that category, there were a lot of characters, and it was definitely an interesting read. I found myself screaming at the main character a lot of times. I was like, God almighty, do you really have to do that? Don't do that. That's probably not a good idea. You know, just common sense. And of course, you know, she was going to do it anyway because that was part of the storyline. It seems as though this month I did a lot of talking to myself on some of these books that I read because I was getting frustrated with the characters. The main section, the section that I did not like in this book was the section boyfriend. It felt as though it was pushed into the story. I think the story would have been just as interesting without him. I also did not realize that this book was part of a series. Thank God it was the number 1 in the series, or I'd have been really upset with myself. The storyline featured friendships, romance, office politics, city crime, intrigue. It was everyday life events in some cases, some of the minute stuff that I could have just done without knowing about. If you like a crime story that doesn't have a lot of horrible details within the crime, this one's for you. This book's for you. The next book that I have is Then She Was Gone. As you can tell, I made some notes on this one. Wow, had me filled with anticipation for the next page, from the first page to the ending of the book. I wanted to finish reading this one. There was nothing odd or strange about the plot except for the small twists and turns that would come around the corner that I least expected. I read some reviews that said it was pretty, they knew what was going to happen. Well, I didn't. Obviously, I've not read enough. It didn't take me long to read it. It was so gripping. Sometimes I found myself talking out loud to these characters about some of the decisions they made. Thank God I was by myself because that would have looked a little weird again. I read a lot of reviews, like I said, that the plot said was predictable. I didn't necessarily agree. I would definitely recommend this book to others. I think it was a really good read for me. Oh, I didn't tell you who the author is of the book. It's by Lisa Jewell. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I'll be looking for some more books from that author. The next book that I read was Never Stop Walking by Christina Rickertsen. The only reason I picked this book up, and I picked it up from Second Fling, which is a secondhand store we have around here. The only reason I picked it up is because, where was it? It said Cristiana Mara Coelho was born into extreme poverty in Brazil. And when I saw that, it has a special place in my heart since I was raised there. So I was like, oh, I got to read this and find out what she's talking about. Boy, was I in for a surprise. Caught me a little off guard. This book was a memoir about events that happened to her. And wow, how awful that a child had to go through those things. That's just being a child that was raised in Brazil. I hated to hear these things about the country. That holds, like I said, a very special place in my heart. I lived in Brazil during the years from 1964 to 78, and this one was after that. So I just didn't experience those things. I think, but all my memories, no. I think it was in those years, but after, it was like in the 80s, I think she said, from 70s to the 80s, but I never went through anything that she went through. All my memories are of a place that was fun with friends, going to church, beach trips, and other fun things to do. So many of the events that she went through caught me totally off guard and had me crying. It was a great read. It was just sad to know that it all really happened. For those that enjoy reading nonfiction, this is a read that you can only hope that the past does not repeat itself. The next book that I have is called A Long Walk to Water. And it was by Linda Sue Park. This was a short and very interesting book. This was actually 2 true stories told in alternating chapters. Wow, I love the way it ended. The story was beautifully told. The book is well written, in my opinion, and what a page turner. This is definitely a book that has teachable moments in it, and I would recommend it to anyone. I hate that some of the stuff that happened in this book happened. Really real events, but wow, what a story. At least the ending, I was glad of the ending. Caught me by surprise also. The next book, seems like I read a lot of true story books, it seems like, is Don't You Ever, My Mother and Her Secret Son. This one was by Mary Carter Bishop. Another heart-wrenching memoir. This memoir is about Bishop, the author, discovering that her mother had an illegitimate son and all the events that occur in her life as well as his life. It amazes me how people from years gone by were able to keep some pretty significant secrets from others. I don't think anybody's got a secret nowadays. Not with social media. It was definitely a captivating read, and once again, it was a book that I could not put down. I have no problem recommending this book to others. Again, sad that some of the events happened, but it was definitely had some teachable moments in it also. The next one was Seaside Letters by Denise Hunter. Well, this is not a true story. This one was an okay read. It's about a waitress who falls in love with a guy that comes to the diner where she works to drink coffee every day. I think it's every day. It's either every day or every other day. He offers her the opportunity to help him with some online research, and she accepts it because this will allow her to spend some time with him. And the plot line evolves from this point on. I found myself wanting to shout at the 2 main characters also, just tell each other the freaking truth and be done with it. The whole plot was kind of silly and incredibly frustrating to me at times. The plot just doesn't seem realistic to me. I did not like the storyline, but that is just me. It was an okay read. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just kind of fluff as well I felt like it. And the next, I told you, Seaside Letters by Denise Hunter. The next book that I read was Blood and Beauty by Sarah Dunnett. I didn't like this book at all. It was, Blood and Beauty by Sarah Dunnett. And I was surprised because I thought I would have. I could have probably watched a movie about this one and been okay with it, but I did not enjoy reading about this Pope who had, one heck of a past. I will say that the author has certainly done her research in order to put such an authentic plot line together. But to me, there was way too much historical descriptions of everything that I found myself skipping 1 or 2 pages at a time in order to get back to the storyline. Way too much description from me and historical details. So I didn't care for it. I had to make myself finish this book. I had to make myself finish it. Also, just a reminder that I'm going to try to upload a video every week. I'm going to try to get a little bit more on the ball than what I've been. I'm going to do some different things. I may have some book crafts involved in this. I'm going to try to do it, like I said, on Monday. I'm going to try to film on the weekend and then download it on Monday. If I can get once a week down, maybe I can do twice. But this videotaping is a little challenging, should I say. All right, with that said, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you again for joining me.